Welcome in to a Saturday night episode for Sunday's college basketball Elite Eight. We got two games to discuss. We got plenty of time. Let's just say one of our hosts is not in the highest of spirits. I'm the real _G Warner on Instagram, Patreon, Twitter, everywhere you can find it. I'm joined at Big East Ben, who I think has won his 8 straight best bets on this NCAA tournament. It's a pretty good run.
Yeah, I just need about 10 or 11 more to become dig myself out of this hole that we'll get into in a bit.
Yikes. So we're gonna go through the two games that are on Sunday.
I think we gotta recap our trip a little bit.
Well, I gotta at least give an idea for what the people are about to listen to. But two games Sunday, we'll get through those. We'll have best bets. We'll have a lot of analysis, a little bit different than the Mexican restaurant we recorded in today for approximately 7 minutes. If you missed that episode, you might have missed a little bit of a hint into what is about to come. But there's a once upon a time at Big East Ben made a trip out to Los Angeles for the NCAA tournament, and you can start there.
Yeah, and one of my takeaways was that I purchased tickets for the Sweet 16 regionals in Los Angeles right before the final matchups were announced. And what happened was I ended up paying twice as more as they were going for when I walked in the door that day. So with the trip to Dallas planned, me and Griffin decided we weren't going to get burned like that. So we were going to be patient.
Patience is
And
a
me,
virtue, Ben.
patience is a virtue. So me, you, and my wife were enjoying a lovely late afternoon uh,
Cocktail?
cocktail and barbecue entree, Wagyu steak sandwich from Katy Trail Ice House.
Hell yeah.
And we're nearing the end, and we kind of got burned. We didn't buy at the bottom, but we bought it kind of like the mid range. Our tickets at 245, or not 245, at 545. What was tip?
Tip was
506,
tip was 6:09 p.m.
609 I think it was 606.
I'll say 6:09, but you can take if you I'll let you roll
Understood.
6:06.
Understood. Okay, so we buy our tickets. By your calculations, 24 minutes before the event starts. We head to the stadium. By the time we get to the stadium at 5:04, 5 minutes before tip, we get a message, hello from Game Time. The tickets you purchased are no longer available. We will offer you different seats at the same price. Never mind that the seats are a row back, whatever. Just get me in this game. I flew a lot of a ways away. It's my team. It's the Sweet 16. Just get me in this game.
When was the last time Marquette was in the Sweet 16?
20, 2013.
I agree. So it's
They
been a
beat
while.
Miami.
Been a while. And then what happened?
Get so we're at 5 minutes before tip. Okay. Will you accept the tickets? I go, yes. Just give me the tickets. I want to get in this game. One moment. Nothing.
This is texting, I believe.
Nothing. Thank you. We've secured. We're 5:10 now. After tip, game has started. We've secured your tickets. I said the game has started. This is BS. Transfer me the tickets. Me and you go in and talk to the ushers, and the ushers tells us, "Hey, you bought them through Game Time? Oh, that's a bad idea." Like there are people who come here and they don't get them until 2 days later. And I have to deliver this message to folks over and over again. You're better off trying the box office. So I go, thank you. I message Game Time. Please cancel my tickets. We are now 17 minutes after tip. The game is going along. I'm watching on TV. Marquette is down 12-8. We go to the box office. They don't have 3 seats together. Poor Griffin can't go to the game. So me and
No,
my
hold
wife.
on. I'll jump in here. So they don't have 3 seats, and you walk away from the window. I think you punch the wall, the like concrete. I hope it wasn't
It
concrete.
was a metal door.
metal door on a next to the concrete walls. Okay. And I then walk up after hearing this huge slam, try to distract the lady. I said, do you have just two? And she's like, yeah, we got two. We got some in the opera box seating. I'm like, I didn't even know there was opera at the American Airlines Center in beautiful Victory Park, Dallas, Texas. And so I was like, Ben, why don't you take those two? And then they were 375 a pop as opposed to the, I think, 220 face we were paying. And I think it was coming out to 245 on game time.
And
Well,
those were like the only two.
those were the only two. I asked if they had any singles, and they said they had one for $525. And I said, okay, I'm gonna walk around the arena. Ben, you and Court go in. They did, and then I walked around the stadium twice. One guy said he'd get me in for $100, and I'm like, that's definitely a fake ticket, but let's see what he says. So I follow him, and he's like parading me around the outside of the American Airlines Center. I literally live a block away, so I have some idea what the coordinates are. And the guy goes, uh, I guess I can't find my guy. If you see a guy with a gray beard, that's the guy you should ask. And I'm like, oh, because there's 50 of them, like anywhere around this place, not to mention all the Ubers that are parked outside. So I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll just go back to my apartment and literally put the two games on my little double TV setup. And so I watched games that were literally occurring next to me on television. Like I could reach out and touch the arena, it felt. But Ben got in there. He made it through a game and a half. Said he really liked the section he was in, despite the what happened on the court. And then I don't remember what happened after that.
The what happened after that is that I got an email at 6:29 saying the tickets you purchased have been transferred to you. So now I'm in the hole. I bought 5 tickets for 2 people, and game time.
What'd they offer you, Ben?
They apologized. Charles,
Oh, they did. That's nice.
hey, apologies for the inconvenience, but you know, we you asked us to transfer the tickets. Here's a $50 credit. Here's a $50 credit
A credit even.
on a $749 bill. And it's interesting, Griffin. It's interesting because I messaged them this. I go, part of their policies, on time ticket delivery. You've got our word. Your tickets are our top priority. We guarantee they'll be in your hands in time for your event. In time for your event. Now, someone might say in a court of law, hey, time of your event could mean 8 minutes left in the first half. That could be the definition of your time of the event. For most people, time of the event, any guesses what you would think that would be? How about the name? How about the name of the company? Game time.
Game time.
Jesus, it's ironic. It is. So I again, people with more experience with this might be saying like, yeah, you're a schmuck. Like everyone knows this. You never do this. All right, maybe I am. But if a lot of people are getting burned on this, they might just not be as passionate as I am and think that missing 12 minutes of game action of a sport like
no
this
big deal. Whatever.
It's no big deal. Yeah, we'll just go for the beers. But it is a big deal. In game time, that is unethical to make that, put down on your policy and pull that crap. Look, I used like on that is unethical business practice. I was looking for through the BBB, Better Business Bureau reviews. After I got back, and these guys, they defend everything. They have a counter for everything. How do you counter that? How do you say you're guaranteed for the event? And I'm not asking for the world. I'm not asking for be compensated for you. Just like make me whole. Like how you can't.
Hold on, I have a question for you. If they give you a $50 credit, doesn't that mean how do you use that $50 credit as you sip your hopefully not stale wine?
And yeah, the $50 credit. And the $50 credit is like the most insulting thing at all.
It's like a $50 credit card that you could use at Dave and Buster's, right?
Hey, Hey, we screwed you out of $750, but here's a $50 credit so you continue doing business with us.
So it's not one of those like transferable credits to to Chipotle.
Like Barstool Sports got in trouble with us where they were like stealing people's videos and posting them, and people being like, "Hey, I'm like gonna sue you. This is my property," and they would offer them like a $25 credit to the Barstool store. That's on that level. So anyway, I hope people reach out and talk about different experiences with Game Time. I'm gonna keep on them. I'm gonna write a review. Um, and if you support the cause, tweet hashtag down with game time and hashtag game time 20. That's going to be our rallying call to take these guys down.
Yes, and if you could leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify telling us exactly your experiences with Game Time, we can add it to our long, long list letter, whatever we're putting together. That's on the Mountain West, I guess, correspondent of the Need for Seeds College Basketball podcast with his nice Wyoming Go Pokes t-shirt. Yeah, so that was not a really great experience. I'm gonna try to get to some of my first NCAA tournament action tomorrow. I have not looked at seats yet, but it's an all North Carolina matchup, which sounds like a pretty sad experience for all the Houston fans that drove up those 4.5 hours by the Sam Houston giant statue, because why not? And the state pen or death row in Texas, which seems like a scary place to me. Um, Besides that, I think it's time we can go into these games, unless you have anything. I mean, today was brutal.
I would also like to
Yeah.
add, Griffin, I would also like to add
Mm.
that series of events is bad enough, but when you compare it to the game Marquette played yesterday and you put the two together, I was losing my mind, dude. I was seeing red. There was another situation I probably could have broke my hand. Like to have those come at you while David Joplin is sent to the line shooting 3 free throws to get the lead down to 10 at halftime, and you brick all of them. I was just defeated. Like that season low in points, 4 of 31 from the field, 12%. Thank you, Tyler Kolek and Oso Igudaro, but those games like that is just an unbelievably depressing end to the season. I've now seen seven straight Marquette losses in person. I have not seen a win since January 5th, 2016 over number 8 Providence in person. And it's pissing me off. And most of the games they've been favored. If you rolled money on those 7 games on the money line over and over again against me, you'd
You'd
be
be
up a
able
lot.
to
So
you'd be able to not be so mad at game time.
I'm just gonna go to these games and enjoy seeing Marquette and take the other team money line because I am a mush.
So I had a streak like that with Texas football for sure, and I guess you could probably throw Texas basketball into it because those were the lean years under Shaka Smart. I remember I went, I think, back-to-back games in Barclays Center in Brooklyn when I lived in New York, and they lost both. And I think I had like just been around 3 straight Oklahoma losses plus a bunch of others as well. So I've been there. I haven't counted it up. I don't really want to, but maybe I will look for the next episode so I can counter your number and see how bad mine was. With that said, we'll get to that'll be the second game on Sunday, Easter Sunday. Glad Ben got back for Easter Sunday with the family, with no complications, or he's not gonna have to watch games on his phone under the kitchen table or dining room table or what have you. We'll start with Tennessee and Purdue. This is the earlier matchup on Sunday. Purdue opened a 3-point favorite. They're up to 3.5. All lines courtesy of BetOnline, Sportsbetting.ag. There are links in the podcast description. If you want free money, go take advantage of it. You get up to $500 at Sportsbetting.ag if you put in $500 in your first time depositor. So go grab that. Total is 147.5 at open, and it stayed there with a little bit more juice at BetOnline or Sportsbetting.ag, sister sites. They say the same stuff. What do we got on Tennessee and Purdue? Because it's Zach Edey against a pretty rugged front line, but it's Zach Edey.
Yeah, so I want to start with your thoughts first, because Purdue, I was at the game obviously, so they were showing Purdue Gonzaga game highlights during the screen, and it seemed like it was
You
like
were at the
pretty.
other game in Los Angeles, you're saying, not the one
I
in
no,
Detroit.
I was no, I was at the um no,
You were
dude,
at the
it,
Marquette game. What am I
I
talking
was at
about?
the Marquette game. Yeah,
Yes,
all right,
yes,
sorry. There's been
yes.
a lot of games recently.
There have been.
I apologize. A
No,
lot of
you're
madness.
right. You're right. I'm wrong. Keep going.
My brain is being scrambled. How did how did they look? How did they pull away from Gonzaga in your estimation?
Um,
I saw Braden Smith had 14 boards. How did does that happen?
it's hard to say. I think Graham Ike had zero or one foul in the first half and fouled out with 5 minutes to go. I've had some independent sources or relatively independent once Texas went out, became independent classmates of mine from undergrad, roommates that basically asked, how come these 7'4" Goliaths, both Zach Edey and Donovan Clingan from Connecticut, why do they get all the calls? Like they are able to beat the shit out of who they're playing, and they get tapped and they get called
Did
fouls from
you
the other
see
team.
did you see the Ryan Nemhard play when ZD just totally goes over his
I mean,
back
so
after falling?
I was watching that fairly closely for a little while because I had some interest in Gonzaga. I didn't play them, and I'm glad I didn't. But it was a really close game for a while. Gonzaga they started really well. They're making a bunch of shots. I think got a little bit cold second half, and Purdue shot 45% from three, and that's generally the story. I mean, 23 of 36 inside. I think it's just one of those things where I know Ben Gregg picked up his third foul like in the last few seconds of the first half, and they were trying to like somehow switch him and Graham Ike on Edey, but Edey is just literally like piling up fouls, stacking up fouls against everyone he's up against this tournament, and basically fouling teams out. That's not unheard of, but after watching the muggings that were going on in the games today, the fouls that Connecticut was getting away with against Illinois was incredible. Doesn't totally explain a 30-0 run, but I think can explain a fair amount of the trajectory and how that run began. And then just watching what I mean, incredible officiating in the Clemson and Alabama game, but it's one of those things where like unfortunately the two teams with monsters inside, and honestly I'm not sure that Donovan Clingan from UConn is that far behind Zach Edey at this point. Like they might be a toss-up about who's better, which makes to me UConn a pretty sizable favorite if they face each other. But Purdue's better than they were last year. It seemed like a game that could go either way for a while. Gonzaga was leading and I was like kind of mad I didn't play it, and then all of a sudden things started turning for the worst in the second half, or the worse. And I think Gonzaga, they had a really good run. We saw a little bit of their struggles in that first half against Kansas. They also struggled for the first half of the entire season, got in WCC play and started to play a lot better, got a lot more confident. It seemed like the boat rocked a little bit early second half, and then next thing I knew it, Gonzaga was down double digits. So, and that's where it finished, 12-point loss. So, I don't really know what to say. It does seem to me that fading the really good teams hasn't worked out very well in this tournament because they are just destroying everybody, specifically in UConn's example, but also Purdue as well.
Yeah, I mean it's really tough to bet against Purdue right now. Three
Only three and a
losses
half. Only 3.5, huh?
and only 3.5. They only have three losses in 2024. And I think it's exactly what you said. If they, I don't agree with again, and I'm not the minority here. A lot of people are very, very opposed to the way Zach Edey is treated.
Efficient.
It makes
Mhm.
no sense. The gloves, like this is an issue, and why do we think they're going to change now? Like the referees have called them this way for 2 years now. It's even more abhorrent this year than it is last year. I think we all agree. Um,
It seems worse to me, but also they've played infinitely more games this season because they lost to a 16 seed in the first round last year.
yeah, and I just think he he's consistent. He's a consistent 27 and 14 or whatever he's averaging for the tournament. And then when you're getting that from one guy from your bell cow, You just need one other guy from Fletcher Lawyer, Braden Smith, or Lance Jones, or you like Mason Gillis to play like a good game, and that's the method of victory. Um, so again, I love this Tennessee team. I still have a future on Tennessee to win this thing. They're my last future alive. Um, I'm just saying, I'm just going to go on these recent trends and say, as of now, until Purdue reaches UConn, they have a unstoppable formula, and I can't go against that. I'm going to take Purdue minus 3.5.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just looking at the Tennessee lineup, and I mean they have guys that play bigger than their size,
Yeah.
but I don't know that Jonas Adu is really going to be able to slow down Zach Edey. That's 5 fouls, and then you go to Josiah Jordan James, who's probably not going to want to play inside. That's like a last scenario, worst case scenario. Toby Waka is an awesome physical specimen. He is so strong, but he's I think 6'8", and so that's 8 inches shorter than Zach Edey at listed heights. So,
And we've seen how strong guys at that height have done against Zach Edey in this tournament.
I mean, Great Osabor to me is more talented than anyone on this Tennessee team, but at the big man type of slot,
Yeah.
not counting Dalton Connect. So I don't really know how you stop them. I don't know what number you could make this. Tennessee did play Purdue in Maui earlier this season. It was a 4-point Purdue victory. Looks like when I'm looking at stats pretty quickly, Purdue fouled a lot, so put Tennessee at the line a bunch. They did not shoot well from two, did not shoot well from three. They shot an effective field goal percentage of 38.9% and still won the game. They played fairly well defensively, I guess, because Tennessee didn't shoot well either. And this was the second day of Maui. So you'd expect those teams to be somewhat ready for those, I guess, that event that wasn't played with the soft rims this season. I mean, I don't
Did
know
you
what
say there was 30 fouls in that game? Did you mention that on the side in
uh
orange?
very, very high free throw rates.
Yeah.
So Tennessee got to the line 52.6% of their or whatever that effective free throw rate was. Purdue 89. So that's a significant difference. That's probably how they won, but there was no offense in this one. Um
There was 30 fouls on Tennessee.
that would explain an 89 or 88.9 free throw rate. Um I mean, I just don't know who's backing Tennessee here. Like, who's taking 3.5 on the Vols with a potentially ill Santiago Vescovi. I don't know that he was totally missed because he's one of the. I mean, I think he's still an important player, but probably fifth out of five important importance on the starter chain. Um, but Creighton were in really good position, and next thing I knew, they were down 13 points, and don't really, unfortunately, I missed that portion of the game. Trying to let a husband and wife who had just punched a a metal door outside the arena try to find a an apartment 1 block away, but it was a labyrinth. So
That got a laugh from the peanut gallery over here.
nice, good, good. Hey, Peanut Gallery. Um, and I think it's just Purdue for me as well. 3.5 point favorites. I don't love going above three. It hasn't seemed to matter. Whoever's winning is covering in this tournament so far. It feels like the NFL. We'll move to the South region. Unfortunately, a game that Marquette could be in, maybe should be in, but bad shooting, or maybe you think it's or really good defense that NC State played on Friday night.
I mean, most of all, I think was bad business practices, but I already spent enough time on that.
I don't think we have enough time in this episode to go back through game time to zero, even though it's not publicly traded.
It's luck. It's obviously luck. You saw the shot quality score. Marquette should have won this game 79-64. A lot of the 27 missed 3-pointers were wide open. And there was, have you seen this, Griffin? Have you seen this stuff with the ball? Have you
Yeah.
seen these videos on the ball?
Yeah.
It's overinflated.
Whoever's more used to the ball wins
No,
basically.
it's overinflated.
Oh, so that's why the long shots rattle out.
So if you are settling for the three ball, you're you're screwed. And they settle for the three ball. And listen,
Well,
they
ask my Clemson bet today about that.
that was a great game. Quick note on that game. Did you see the flop? I forget who it was on Bama, the
Yeah,
flop with
yeah,
Gerard and
yeah.
Nate Oates going,
Oh, oh, oh my God.
that was an all time. I wish they ran that replay back more. They didn't give a good shot of it. It was, I hate that. I am hammering UConn. Um, I'm hammering UConn next week when we're in Phoenix. I hate that Alabama team. Like Mark Sears played great. Pringle was amazing. Griffin was amazing. Um, he just kept coming, but God, that team's unlikable.
Dude,
Sears is
the Chapel Hill guy we couldn't hear enough of being from his mom's facing his mom's alma mater and knocking them out the previous round. Two air balls in his first three pointers, and then made 5 of 8. I mean, just incredible stuff.
yeah,
Stevenson, I think.
just yeah, Stevenson, career high 19 points. um,
What are you gonna do?
yeah, I hate everything about this album.
That's not the game we're talking about
I
though.
know, I
We're
know, I
going
know.
NC State Duke. Let's come back. We'll come
All right,
back
all
full
right, all right, all
circle.
right, all right. I like talking to Paul.
There's
There's just
a
too many
little
events
tease
to
for our
do.
next episode.
All right, all right. Back to this game. Um, Look, NC State did not deserve to win that game. This NC State team, we got to remember, was tied with Louisville with 4 minutes and 58 seconds left.
Banked in a
They
three apparently to get to Virginia to overtime as well in
banked
these.
in a three, 9 of 10 from 9 and 10 in the week ACC. That's what we thought at the time. Um, Listen, man, this tournament's crazy. They got something. Like I said before. I mean, the ACC voodoo played Clemson today. I think NC State can run with Duke. I do. I'm not. I'm still not that impressed by Duke. They really got lucky with the Shed injury. They really got lucky with that.
Okay, let me give you the line here. So we're looking at NC State opened a 6 point underdog. They're up to
It's
seven.
up 7. Too many points.
Getting a touchdown. Total is 143.
Too many points. You can't feel good about. You can't feel good about. I again. I finally got lucky fading Clemson today. I don't think you can fade this NC State team. There's just something about them. I know they lost by 15 to Duke at home to end the regular season, but that's ancient history. They beat them in the tournament.
And they
They were last team.
yeah.
They were last team to beat Duke. To think that they can't do it again and giving 7 points is disrespectful. I'm taking the team that ended my season. Keep it going, Wolfpack. +7 NC State.
Oh. Yeah, so I'm looking at the two matchups, which were both actually played in March, NC State and Duke. So, as you said, NC State lost by 15 at home. It was not really their best day. So Duke didn't do very well. They gave up a bunch of offensive rebounds. Duke didn't give up many 3 point attempts. And I think really the stats here don't look so bad. It looked pretty average, but Duke was able to get a ton of offensive rebounds themselves. So I guess it was just a war of offensive rebounds. I don't really know that that necessarily repeats itself. Certainly you see whatever Ryan Young, I think for Duke will be in there pounding the boards for sure. Filipowski's a giant, but I think he really wants to play outside. And I don't really know how they match up with DJ Burns. I don't know that I really feel like I think he only scored 4 points against Marquette, but was
That's the thing. He wasn't even a factor, and I again, Marquette played awful, but they have enough guys to pull it out. I mean,
I think it was his passing more so. I don't know that there's a lot of great assist calculators out there, but I think he had pretty good numbers in that way. But I think he took 4 shots, scored 4 points. So,
yeah,
um, not a huge day, but I do think that that's one of those kind of characters that really hard to defend. And I mean, he definitely had some bad turnovers that led to Marquette runouts, but that seemed to be the only points that Marquette was really scoring. Oh my God, I think Jaws is on TBS. Yikes, I'm gonna have to change this channel real fast. But I think actually no, Keanu Reeves isn't in Jaws, I don't think. So it must be something else. Regardless,
the Matrix,
we're I don't know,
Speed.
we're diving in water now. The replacements, that's where we are.
Oh, Shane Falco.
Jane Falco, baby. Yeah, he's taking barnacles off the boat right now. Anyway,
Chick stick scars.
back to NC State. So I mean, it's weird that they lost by 15 and then at home, in a pretty really tough Rocks environment. I think it only gets up more for UNC than it does for Duke. And I mean, NC State looking at him here. I mean, in that tournament game, Duke shot 5 of 20 from three, so 25%. And NC State doesn't shoot a lot of threes, but went 7 of 16, and that's how they won the game. Looking on this incredible stretch from NC State, I don't know that anyone saw this coming. I mean, I don't think anyone picked them in like a lot of the big conference tournament pools, despite big price tags you could get for taking NC State because they had to win 5 games in 5 days. But 10 of 18 for three against Louisville. That doesn't say much. 6 of 19 against Syracuse. Duke, or excuse me, these are all defensive numbers. Offensive numbers: 7 of 19, 7 of 20, 7 of 16, 3 of 17, then 6 of 14 was their best number, I guess, besides the Duke performance. So, I mean, it doesn't seem like 3 points are a big deal for them. So, I don't know about your inflated ball theory, but it's going to be tough, I think, for NC State to keep this going. But there is something to be said about momentum, and I think there's something to be said about DJ Burns being really hard to defend. And when he comes off the floor, Middlebrooks is really underrated and is one of the best, I think, backup centers out there.
He's so good.
Clemson transfer, who I don't know how they
Yep.
let him go, but I guess
But they are. I mean,
they
the big
traded
white
him.
guy. They have that in spades. So
They do, and I guess they sort of traded him for Clark, I think. But nice job with his 83% at the line, missing 2 free throws today. I mean, Clemson, I think eighth in the country,
Dude,
blown, blown
two
it.
of 13, 2 of 10 in the second half. I think.
I saw 3 of 11 at one point. So like, yeah, just disgusting. I mean, I know for sure because I was shooting baskets the other day. I'm making more than that. Um, I'll go NC State +7 as well with you. And since you're 8-0 on best bets, I think it's time before we get in there. If you're not following us on Twitter, make sure you do that at Big East Ben. I'm at the real_G Warner across all platforms at the real_G Warner, Instagram. If you want to find our reels, also on YouTube, if you want to find our shorts, also these huge episodes, and you get to see every time once one gets uploaded. Thank you for all of our new subscribers. We got a bunch over March Madness. We want to really thank you all for that. Got plenty of other podcasts coming up on this channel. Got a baseball one with at A Brooks Bets. So keep on the lookout for that. And we'll be, of course, rocking with you the rest of the college basketball season. We'll see if at Big East Ben wants to dip his toe into the NIT waters of early next week. And if you're not a member of my Patreon, check it out. Patreon.com/real_G Warner, the best spot to get all my plays, leans, write-ups across all sports. Baseball is just starting. Get on in there, plus soccer every weekend. I need to sleep at some point. We'll see. It's a late Saturday night episode, but let's get into it. Give us your hopefully 9th consecutive victory in this tournament. Best bet.
Best bet for 9 in a row. Purdue -3.5. This Purdue team is on the warpath. They have a formula that works. There's one thing in their way, in my opinion, at this point, at preventing a national championship. He is one of the beasts
Of the
and
East.
monsters of the Big East Conference, to quote Dan Hurley. Awesome press conference today, if you saw it. It's Donovan Clan, but for now, Edey continues his dominance. Give me Purdue -3.5 for the Final Four.
So you just heard at Big East Ben. He gave you he's on an 8-0 streak in this NCAA tournament of best bets. Incredible. We've done 8 podcasts already. More incredible. He's perfect so far. He will put that on the line with Purdue, a 3.5-point favorite in the early matchup on Sunday. For my best bet, the real_G Warner on Instagram, Patreon, and on Twitter, I'm going to go with those NC State Wolfpack 7-point underdog. I've been splitting all my underdog plays in this tournament first half in game, but I think there's a really good chance that Duke survived a very limited and injured Houston team and gets through. So make sure you take Zach Edey, potentially trying to Edey a little bit more, laying 3.5 points for at Big East Ben's best bet, trying for 9 in a row, and grab NC State +7 so you can ride with the boys as we are aligned on both picks. And we're going to see a 2-0 Sunday to push off the payment to the bookies until next week. See you all then. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll be back later next week, potentially from Arizona. We'll see.
Down with game time to 0.
Game time, hashtag game time to 0. If you have anything you want to throw in our comment section on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, we would love it. 5-star reviews are a must. But also, if you want to add something, we will throw it into our email. We might not even check it. So if you want to say something really mean, maybe I'll have Ben read it on the next show. Maybe that's a good way to do it. Just literally get game time to 0. It's going to
With
0.
with pleasure.
With pleasure. Ben's looking for some rage tweets towards at game time to 0. All right, that'll do it for this episode. Thank you all for tuning in. Didn't think we could go this long on a 2-game slate, but here we are. Good seeing you, Ben, and say hi to the peanut gallery.
Yeah. See you next weekend.
See you next weekend.